Hello and welcome. Today we're doing tactics again, so let's get right into it. So pause the video and before every puzzle try to solve it yourself and then we can compare our thought process. So what's going on here? So we're down a lot of material, so it seems that this naked king should get checkmated somehow. So where are the checks? Where are the captures? There's plenty. Rook g7, queen g5, queen g8. These are the ones I can see. But it's not really threatening anything yet, so we're not forced to give a check, but it would help. So okay, let's take a look. So queen g5 naturally looks the best as it's close to the king. So queen g5. What's white going to do? So it's either f2 or f1. So if f1 is trying to get away, after king f1, rook h1, king f2, then what? Perhaps queen h4. The king will have to go to g2 and queen h2 is checkmate, right? Okay, so after queen g5 it seems he cannot go to f1 as it ends in checkmate quite quickly. So king f2 instead. What can he do here? I don't want to give this rook h2 check because after king e1 he gets away kind of. So king f2, queen h4 I guess is the right check to not allow king e1, and if king f1 then we can go here, rook f7, then if g1 or g2 I'll go queen f2 and it will be checkmate soon. Otherwise with king f2, queen h4, king f1, rook f7, bishop f3 is sort of a move. This should end in checkmate. Let's see, rook takes f3, king to e2, then what? I guess rook f2 is the simplest. No wait, that's not really the simplest. So again, queen g5, king f2, queen h4, king f1, rook f7, bishop f3. In that position there's a lot of checks. I don't really believe white can survive this, but even if I don't believe it, we have to solve it. So rook takes f3, king e2. And then what? I guess could go queen h2. But I think we don't really have to calculate there. I'm pretty sure it's going to be checkmate. Okay, queen g5. What else can he do? Bishop g4, I'll take. And king f2, rook h2, this will be checkmate. So maybe we should get back to this variation. I mean, where was the variation? King f1. No wait, I forgot. King f2, right? Queen h4, king f1. Actually, there I could just go queen h1. That's actually a pretty fast checkmate. Rook f7 shouldn't be played. So this seems like the correct solution. Check. Right here, what was I planning? I think it was queen h4. The point is to not allow king e1 for him to run away. Yeah, and the engine is content with this answer, but the rest would be like here, here. And I was planning this, but this actually isn't winning, interestingly. I forgot the king could run away. But rook f7 apparently is winning. It's not really winning right away, but it's winning the queen, which should be good enough, apparently. Okay, we could say I didn't really solve this one, but it's close enough. Okay, next one. So pause the video for yourself, try to figure it out. And okay, so checks, captures, and attacks. Checks, g6, he will take. I don't really see a follow-up. Captures here. But again, don't really see the point, probably. You can also take with the king. Okay, attacks. Well, bishop c3 or bishop f8. So bishop f8 I don't like because king g8. Now there I could play g6, which is interesting, but it seems a bit uncoordinated. Probably bishop c3 is a bit better. So bishop c3 threatens the pawn on g7. Not really sure. Of course, when I take it on king h8, I have some discovered checks. The big threat is rook g7, king h8, rook g6, and then taking on h6. So that's the threat. So bishop c3. So what's he doing? I think he has to take here probably, or play h5, or even king g6. So for example, king g6, he tries to run away. I don't really see the win there somehow. Okay, what else is possible? So this is an attack here. f5 would threaten checkmate with g6, rook f8. So f5, what's he doing? I guess he has to take, right? There's no real alternative there. So after f5, he can take. I can play f6, I guess. Okay. But king g6. I think he's picking up the pawn on f6. So this again doesn't seem to work. So let's get back to bishop c3. King to g6, rook g7, king f5. I don't really see it. What could be the point here? Otherwise f5, hg. Maybe there bishop c3. Now the king cannot run away. I'm not really sure what exactly I'm threatening there. This is a bit difficult. Perhaps we should check this again. But even this, I don't really like it. I don't really understand this one. So, what's going on? Is g6? No, g6 is nothing. And bishop c3 is the most obvious move, but after king g6, I'm not too sure. So rook takes g7, king f5, I guess. Maybe it's just winning normally, like rook can go back to f7. Maybe I'll just promote the pawn. Maybe this is the point. Black doesn't really have much of a perpetual. Like his own idea is to take on c2 somehow and give this kind of perpetual, but it is still far away. So bishop c3, what's his move? I don't really see. So if he takes, I guess I'll take. King to h6. But if king to h6, I'll take and win the queen with rook h7. So bishop c3. If he takes, he has to go king h8, I guess. But I don't really believe it. I'll just take here. That one seems to be winning. It seems like bishop c3 is the answer, but it's not exactly clear how white is winning. But okay, let's go. And bishop c3, he goes here. He's mentioned rook g7. Yeah, and here, didn't really calculate this, but I'm pretty sure it's rook h7. Though I might be wrong, because he might go and get some kind of perpetual, like mentioned, or like queen f5. It's not that clear, really. Not really sure what's going on here. I mean, if I take here, I guess he takes back, right? Again, not very obvious what's going on here. So this one is quite tough. So rook h7 perhaps should be played. For example, queen g2, rook h6, king g4. And I guess I'm not really sure what's going on here. G takes. I don't like it. But I think rook h7 is the best we can do probably. And hopefully that position is winning. This one, not too sure. Rook h7. Yeah, he goes here. We'll take. Yeah, apparently this is winning. G6, queen c2, and rook h1. Yeah, so this position is a win for white. Oh yeah, it's fair enough. Not allowing this perpetual. Well, it's getting very difficult already. Okay, next one. Pause the video, try to figure it out. And what's going on here? So the obvious move is to give a fork, but I guess that's not really the end of the story. Don't really see anything else. If white doesn't win the bishop, he's just losing. Okay, knight d5 has to be played, but this is also a general thing about puzzles. Just because we clearly know the first move, it doesn't mean we have to play it and then, so to say, check what our opponent does. The only way to get better at calculation is to imagine all of the variations before making the move. So knight e5, the king goes b5 or b3, probably b3. So let's take the bishop. c4 is basically the only chance, I guess. There I think we have to somehow take the pawn. So king d4, c3. Now we should try to catch this pawn with our knight. How do we do this? We have to find the right cycle. So knight d5, king b3, knight f6, c4, king d4, c3. So if we go back to d5 after c2, we're not in time. So otherwise, what's the variation? Here, knight f6, c4, king d4, c3. The knight should go to d3 probably. So knight d7 is what I'm thinking. And after c2, knight c5 check. For example, king b2, knight d3, king b1. We will give up the knight for the c pawn, and the king will win the king and pawn endgame. So this seems like the correct solution. Let's take knight d7. Yeah, and this is correct enough. So this one is a bit easier, but it's important to know where our knight wants to go exactly. Probably it has to go to d3. There's no other way to stop this pawn. Okay. Next one, let's do one more. So pause the video, check his captures and attacks. So the first move should be obvious enough. We really don't want to lose our queen, so we will take on f6. He will take back, and then I guess black has to somehow win with his connected passed pawn. So how does this happen? We have to push one of our pawns, I would assume. We also have this check on h6. Not really sure it's very useful quite yet. So this will require some calculations. So take. Okay, let's say g3. What's white going to do? I think there's this move rook to d5 with the point that after g2 he can take. This will be a check. After king g8 he will pick this pawn up again. So if rook d5, we can't push g2. What we can do is give this check, bishop h6, king d1, and then g2, right? And now rook h5 will not be a check. If he is forced to go back, then we will push the h pawn and it will help the g pawn promote. So after g3, rook d5 I guess doesn't work. We could also, I guess, give this check first. Probably, wait, takes, g3, maybe the problem is rook h1. But then again, the same check. But then this doesn't work because bishop h6, king d1. Now with g2, then rook g1 will happen. So here, with g3, then rook h1 is a big problem, it seems. Right. So g3 might not be the move, so we should maybe give this check. The king will be forced to b1, then g3 maybe. Then what? I mean, or something like rook g1 is possible, but seems too passive. Rook h1 again. What's happening there? Is king h7 the move? Because if he takes, then after g2 we're promoting. So takes, check, king b1, g3. White of course can give some check, but it's not really helping him. If f7 and g2, I think. Alright. So queen f6 takes. I think we have to give this check. while the king has to go to b1, then play g3. So if rook h1, then again I think king h7 is the move. It seems a bit slow somehow. But maybe if we pick up this pawn on f6, this king is just far away. So okay, let's take, let's give this check. Yes, somehow this is enough. But the point is king b1. Yeah, g3, and if rook h1, this is the variation I was looking at, king g8 also works. The point is that now the g5 square is taken away. If we push right here, then rook g1. I was also looking at g3 here, but yeah, as mentioned, rook h1 is an issue. Rook d5 is not much of an issue because of this check in g2. Or same here. So yeah, bishop h6 check, forcing moves, an important check to not allow taking this with check, because if this was a check, then after moving the king, this will be a fork. But here, I guess black is just generally winning. For example, white can't really do much. I guess rook h3. Yeah, bishop f4 here is important actually. King g6. Here, for example, king g5. Yeah, maybe this should have been calculated a little bit further, but black is still winning. So, hopefully this was useful. Hopefully you solved some of these yourself. And thanks for watching.